cough, 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 cough. Got your headphones on?
Yes.
Are they okay?
Too loud. Way too loud.
How's that?
A little lower. All right. That's We're going stronger, marching on.
90.3 FM, WHPC. From the Pressbox here every Monday, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. My name is Rob Leonard, and joining me, of course, is my brother Tim, award-winning sports writer Tim Leonard. Hello, brother.
Hello, brother.
Today we mark the second anniversary of the premiere of From the Pressbox, which happened on Memorial Day 2014.
Yes, let's not forget the brave fighting men and women who have made this show possible.
Sure. And we thank Jim Green for putting us on, by the way. Our fearless leader down here.
Beloved program director.
Well, we say fearless leader now. We won't get into that.
All right.
Anyway, we are celebrating our second anniversary on the air, and since it is our second anniversary, we thought we'd have some of the regulars call in. We'll have Christy Ackert, Mets beat writer for the New York Daily News on. J.P. Pelsman, who works for the Bergen Record.
Covers the Jets and Seton Hall, and apparently now is covering the Mets. So
and the Mets.
J.P. might be the busiest guy and busiest sports writer in the New York market.
Well, if you remember when we interviewed Phil Pepe, he said at one point in 1970, after covering the Mets, he ended up covering the Knicks because the Knicks beat writer, something happened to him or something.
Vanished.
Yeah. So that was a good year to do it too.
Well, yeah, that was. As opposed to the year that I covered the Metro Stars to a 6-win season, and then went from that to Rutgers football, which won all of one game that season.
And didn't you also cover the New York, New Jersey Hitmen?
The wrestling, yes, that wasn't that same season, but yeah, that was another disaster for my sports writing career.
Also, third person joining us today is Kimberly Martin of Newsday.
Yes.
That's
right. So, some of our favorite guests from the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Some of the regulars.
And if Phil Pepe was still alive, we would have had him on probably.
Absolutely.
We would have worked the phones because he was on twice with us. To our knowledge, it's the last interview Phil ever did, and he was great. We
loved Phil.
Phil was fantastic. I mean, he was still watching the games. He knew very detail-oriented about what was going on.
Very dedicated to baseball, and he still had that beat writer's mentality, even though he was retired.
Yeah, so that's we miss Phil, and we like having writers on because writers usually can talk.
Writers are the heartbeat.
Yeah.
I mean, people like to rip on the media, but the writers are the ones who know what's going on and bring it to the fans. So they're the perfect people to interview for a show like this.
Yeah, man, we've had Phil Mushnick on. We've had Bill Madden on. We've had George Vesey on. All sports.
A lot of the top names. A lot of top names in the industry.
Bill Madden has written a book, many books.
Several books, yeah.
And George Vesey did the
also several books.
The one we interviewed about was the World Cup book, the eight World Cup. So anyway, I don't even know where to start because we only have what we're doing is 10:15 to 10:30, 10:30 to 10:45, and 10:45 to the end of the show. So we only have a few minutes actually to talk about right now. We should say the Cleveland Cavaliers might actually bring a championship to Cleveland.
It's a maybe. Right?
It's a maybe right now. LeBron James is ready to be the hero forever in Cleveland.
It would be Cleveland rocks.
It'd be Cleveland rocks.
The Cavaliers right now, they're waiting because now we have Game 7. Which, I got to be honest, I didn't think Game 7 was going to happen in the Western Conference.
Oh, no way.
As great a season as the Golden State Warriors have had, I thought they were done, and they proved a lot of people wrong because they won Game 6 last night in Oklahoma City, and right now you'd have to say that Golden State is on their way to the finals again. Cause I don't think the Thunder are going to win Game 7 in Golden State.
Well, the funny thing was the Thunder were up by 9 points or something, and then Golden State really came back and destroyed.
Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, as those two guys are supposed to be two of the 5 best players in the NBA,
right?
And neither one of them played like a star in the fourth quarter. Kevin Durant, if I remember correctly, was 1 for 7. He went 10 for 31 in a game. Westbrook was similar shooting percentages, somewhere in the 33% range. You need stars, especially guys like that, to step up and put Golden State away in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they didn't.
And they did not do that.
You know what ESPN's been showing a lot of? There's a new 30 for 30. I don't know if it's new, but it's the first time I've seen it, called Believe Land. And it's about,
fairly new, yeah.
And it's about Cleveland and how they haven't had a championship in over 50 years.
That's a starved city.
Yeah, and they've had some rough times, you know.
They've had some chances. The Indians, when they opened Jacobs Field, and those teams that had Albert Bell and Carlos Baerga,
and 97, the Indians beat the Yankees
in yes, the unfortunate series that was when I think it was Sandy Alomar hit the home run off of Mariano Rivera.
Great time.
No, not really, but but that was a year that the Indians probably should have won a title, and they didn't. And since then, I mean, there have been chances. LeBron had a couple of chances when he was in his first tour of duty with the Cavaliers, but they never really put players around him. Now he's got Kyrie Irving, he's got Kevin Love, and they have a better surrounding cast, but. Again, you're going up against the Warriors more than likely, who are arguably the best team in history. I mean, they've won more games this season than anybody ever has.
They have to win the finals to make that lead statement. But in the regular season, we should also say the Stanley Cup finals finally start. Penguins versus the Sharks.
We're going to talk a little bit about that with Christy Ackert, by the way.
Oh, we are? Okay.
Big Penguins fan, apparently.
Really? Okay, I didn't know that. And that finally starts tonight. I mean, NHL, for some reason the NHL seems to take longer than the NBA, even though they have the same...
The Western Conference series that the Sharks won over St. Louis, that went an eternity, it felt like.
Yeah.
So it's good to see the Stanley Cup Finals are finally here. Yeah. It's good. It'll be good to see that series and how it turns out.
As much as Gary Bettman likes to talk about, well, we really do good with people who own computers. He likes to say because their website gets a lot of hits. I have to say I saw some ratings for the hockey, and at least on cable, NBC's SN and maybe USA. I think the other one's been showing it. The ratings have been pretty decent considering.
Yeah, I mean, hockey fans will tune in.
It's not WWE, but it's that gets great ratings.
That's a good thing, by the way. But it's not.
Also, let's see. We got about 5 more minutes to talk here before we start getting people on the air. We're going to talk with Christy about the Mets. One thing that I want to ask her is about the '86 celebration this weekend. And what happened with Noah and what the reaction.
I'm curious, and I don't think Christy's going to have the answer to this because it's a behind the scenes kind of question. I'm curious to see what it was like for the Mets team of '86 to hang out today, as opposed to when they hung out back in the day. Because Ron Darling and Keith Hernandez both were talking in the booth about how some of their favorite times were going out after the game for a beer and just getting a bunch of those guys together. And that was a team that liked to hang out together.
Oh yeah.
But I'm curious, especially with the obvious substance abuse issues that some of these guys have had. What was it like now? And especially, I mean, you're talking about guys who were 30 years older. You're talking about guys who were 25, 30 years old who are now 55, 60 years old.
I'm sure they came into town saying, we're still hey, they're the last one that won the World Series with the Mets, so they can still go into any bar.
Oh, sure, without a doubt. If a dozen of those guys walked into any place in New York, believe me, they're getting an open tab and come on in, boys, and love to have you, and you don't have to pay for a drink, but. Yeah, I'm just curious about
my favorite part of
how it went.
My favorite part of what I read about all the stuff with the '86, Lenny Dykstra was there. He was in jail, and
nails.
So he had a PR person around him because he has a book coming out, and they didn't want him to give anything away in the book yet. So he a PR person
No, you know what? That's a babysitter.
Yeah, well, I didn't want to say that. But
that's what that is. Lenny Dykstra had a babysitter.
Yeah, well, he might have, but basically, there's a book coming out.
What do we know? What publisher?
I have no idea. Yeah.
That's ridiculous. I mean, no,
Well,
there's not. I don't think that many people care about a Lenny Dykstra book.
Well, this would be his second because he had nails.
But the dude was in jail. I mean,
well, he did a lot of illegal crap.
I don't want to read about it.
I remember he went on, I think it was Mike and the Mad Dog a long time ago, and he was talking about all the money he was making. And he was lying.
He was making money, but it was like a Ponzi scheme. He was ripping people off. That's why he was making money.
Allegedly.
No, he went into jail. It's not allegedly.
Well, we're not lawyers here. So, but it was interesting seeing all the guys back together. I thought it was a touching moment where Gary Carter's kid did a jump onto Jesse Orozco.
Oh, that was cool.
Where, his father's, number
right.
back. It was really cool. Of course, those old uniforms had to show up this weekend.
Of course. Those were good, though. I like those.
I don't like those uniforms.
I don't.
I only like them because the Mets in '86 won with them.
As my boy Musnick says, there's no accounting for taste.
Yeah. So, also, what's going on with the Yankees?
The Yankees yesterday were to use a music phrase, since you're a music guy.
Yes.
They were a one-hit wonder.
And they won?
And they won. How about that? How about getting one hit in a game and still winning? Which kind of tells you this is what's going on with the Yankees right now. And that's a positive thing, because they're finding ways to win, as opposed to early in the season when they were kind of finding ways to lose. It's still not great. The Yankees right now, 24-25. They're a game under 500. Toronto, they're in fourth place. I mean, right now the American League East it's two separate issues. You have Boston and Baltimore at the top, and Toronto, the Yankees, and Tampa Bay all kind of bunched up in let's say the middle.
Right.
But the Yankees are half a game out of third place, and they need another surge, is what it comes down to. I mean, you have to remember the Yankees right now, like I said, 24-25. You have to remember this team was at one point 8-16.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They actually played well.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at it from that standpoint, there are positives. But you look at yesterday. Nate Eovaldi pitched a nice game, real nice game, as a matter of fact. And in the bullpen, they're calling him Run BMC for Betances, Miller, and Chapman. So
okay, that's good.
You could go DMC because you could just go Dellin instead of Betances. You could go DMC, but whatever. I'm going to
go with it.
I'll let the writers have their fun with that. But those guys came in after Eovaldi threw 6 innings, 1 run, and between Betances, Miller, Chapman, 3 innings, no hits, 7 strikeouts. That's the dominance that was projected for this bullpen.
That's why they have a much better chance than they
You go
should.
6 innings, you have the lead, and the game is over.
Mm-hmm.
And that's...
Well, where have we heard that before?
It's not the first time it's happened this season.
Well, it's not the first time it's happened to the Yankees.
Yesterday was a real showing of this is what they envisioned. And it only took 1 hit, and that 1 hit was a 2-run home run from Starlin Castro, and that was all the Yankees needed. So if they can get a well-pitched game, chances are they're going to win, because that's what that bullpen is going to do for them. Now, I say that with Michael Pineda being completely unable to give him a well-pitched game these days, and I don't know what's going to happen when Luis Severino is healthy again, because the Yankees will have a decision to make, because right now Pineda's not getting it done. So they need to figure that part out. Ivan Nova came in for Severino and joined the rotation, has been outstanding since then. But when Severino is healthy, if they bring him back to the major league rotation as opposed to sending him back to AAA for a little while, something needs to happen, because Pineda is just, he's been a flop. He can't even get out of the first inning without giving up runs. Okay, we got to take a break. We're going to have Christy Acker, the New York Daily News beat writer. Right after this break, you're listening to 90.3 FM WHPC, Garden City, New York, streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC. Don't call us, because we actually have one phone. Well, yeah.
Don't call.
Don't call yet.
CC faculty. Students need your help outside the classroom, too. Many student clubs are looking for faculty advisors and chaperones for evening and weekend events. If you are interested in volunteering, contact us at 516-572-7148. Again, that's 516-572-7148. This message is brought to you by WHPC 90.3, the radio voice of Nassau Community College. Streaming at ncc.edu/WHPC.
This summer, Nassau Community College is offering the Weed Green Associate Program and the Weed AP BDC exam prep courses. where you can earn valuable credentials in the green building field. Offered in partnership with the U.S. Green Building Council of Long Island, Lead Green students will be instructed in a thorough understanding of green building practices and principles. The Lead Green AP courses prepare professionals in the field with a focus on new construction, LEED for schools, and LEED for core and shell rating systems. Courses begin June 11th and the 15th. To register, contact the Center for Workforce Development at 516-572-7487 or check out the NCC website. This message is brought to you by 90.3 FM WHPC, the radio voice of Nassau Community College. Streaming online at ncc.edu/WHPC, as well as the TuneIn Radio app for any smart device.
What have we got right now?
We've got the Arctic,
which helps keep our sea levels steady.
we've got trees in the Amazon.
Hey, Christy, it's Rob Leonard. How you doing?
We've got fresh
I'm okay. We'll put you on in 20 seconds.
Which means your kids and grandkids will have drinkable water.
Today, all this is in danger of disappearing. That way till it's gone. Protect the future of nature. Visit worldwildlife.org.
.3 FM, WHPC. Welcome to the second anniversary show of From the Pressbox. I am Rob Leonard, and of course, my co-host is not only my brother, but also an award-winning sports writer, Tim Leonard. And on the phone with us, she writes for the New York Daily News. She's the Mets beat writer for them. And welcome back to From the Pressbox. Christy Ackert, how you doing? Oh, we're doing well. You know, let's have a little party later on. You know, I don't know what we're going to do. You know, maybe Timmy will buy me lunch or something. Yeah, he would be. He has won. He has won an award.
Yeah, 2 awards, actually. But, Christy, you know that doesn't really mean a whole lot financially.
But it sounds good on the radio. So first of all, congratulations. In the Daily News, you know, usually the writers, you know, sometimes have the photo with them. You know, you see John Harper, and now I see Christy Ackert's photo in the paper all the time. Congratulations. Okay, and you're still the beat writer too, right? Or is that shared? Okay, because sometimes I see co-writing on, I guess maybe it's some notes things or something.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on that. That's very cool. Let's talk about the Mets, because you know, this weekend was
crazy weekend.
Crazy weekend. There was a lot of emotion, happy emotion to see the '86 Mets there, but at the same time, the Mets lost a couple of tough losses. First of all, how are the Mets reacting to what happened to Noah? Because it didn't seem. I mean, Terry Collins got all upset, but it didn't seem like the rest of the team did. I don't know, go punch someone in the head or something. I don't know.
Channel those '86 Mets.
You do sign Darryl Strawberry for a 3-day contract. I just send him out there and start punching people. Well,
yeah, I tend to agree. Yeah.
Right. Right. Okay.
I'm pretty sure you're correct. I'd have to double check it, but it sounds right.
What got me about the pitch was it wasn't an inside pitch; it was a way outside pitch, and it wasn't really close to him. Right. So I was a little disappointed by the umpire. I can understand a warning, but not an ejection.
Well, here. But how would it have changed if they would have just said, all right, here's the warning, no more, we're done? Because here's two things that I'm thinking. Number one, Utley never got hurt because the pitch never hit him. And number two, if you look at the situation like with Matt Bush a couple weeks ago, and the whole thing with Jose Bautista, he hit him and he never got suspended. So Syndergaard didn't hit him and gets ejected. So I don't understand like how baseball is meting out these punishments when there seems to be no consistency. Yeah. That's a good question, because I remember an interview, and I think it was your story in spring training, where he talked about kind of picking up that reputation and wanting to be known as more of a, I don't know if tough guy necessarily is the right phrasing, but he wanted to be known as a guy who was willing to, protect his teammates and also pitch inside and make batters feel a little bit uncomfortable. But to me, if Noah Syndergaard, who obviously is capable of throwing 100 miles an hour, if he wants to hit somebody, he's going to hit them, as opposed to throwing a ball at least a foot behind him. I mean, if he wants to hit Chase Utley's going down. So I don't. Well, yeah, and Utley had said before the series that he still thought that there was going to be some sort of retaliation. But like you said before, I mean, the Mets probably should have dealt with it in L.A. as opposed to bringing it back home. And obviously the fans were all jacked up, and they want their pound of flesh or ounce of blood or whatever you want to call it. But they want something to happen. To me, it's almost, like you said, it's almost past the time where it's kind of like, all right, you know what, we didn't do it or it didn't get done, just let's leave it and move on. And if somebody happens to slide into Utley at second base, then we can kind of get him back that way. But even last night when Seager slid in at second base, that was something I wanted to ask you, because that was something that they didn't address on ESPN. Is there anything in that slide rule, the so-called Utley rule, that says that the runner has to touch the bag on a slide? Because Seager never touched the bag on that slide. Okay. Right. So he was close enough, I guess. Then that probably was the right call, but. Oh, it was dangerous. It was, yeah. Yeah, it was, without a doubt. And they showed replays of it last night, and it even looked more dirty last night than it did last year.
Kimberly, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Exactly. I agree 100%.
Kimberly, the other big question for Met fans right now. What is it?
Christy.
I'm sorry, Christy. I'm sorry.
We got to lift the guest here.
I was looking down at.
By the way, we have. I was going to say we have the two female beat writers in New York City on the same show today.
Really?
How about us?
Wow. Really?